Hey guys, got some quick breaking news here for you. Well, I don't know how breaking it is, but I'm on my way to record the show, but I wanted to get this in before the show. So, some big news out of Texas. The Democrats in Texas decided we are going to flee the state because, of course, what's happening is the Republicans in Texas are trying to gerrymander the state in a very preposterous and brazen way because of the Supreme Court striking down parts of the Voting Rights Act. Now they're in a position where they can basically rig it completely, right? So now you have Republicans rigging elections just like out in the open. Trump said to Governor Abbott, "Give me 5 more seats. I want 5 more seats." And there he was like, "Yes, sir." And so he goes and he gerrymanders it. And of course, this has racial implications as well, basically taking away the vote from minority communities in Texas. And so Democrats looking at this and realizing, of course, it's immoral, it's unethical, it's something that's illegal, or at the very least should be illegal, they decide we're not going to go to this Texas state session and, partake in this farce. We're just going to leave the state.
Yeah. So that denies them a quorum. And so they can't, by the rules of the Texas state legislature, they can't operate without a quorum. And it's a tactic they've used in the past as well, which is why it's such an extraordinary escalation what Abbott is doing now, threatening them with both removal from their seats and felony charges, which is absolutely insane what's going on there.
Yeah, so that is incredibly disturbing. So you had Abbott and other Texas officials, the Attorney General, Ken Paxton, who's an absolute psychopath.
Oh, yeah.
He was like, all right, well, we're going to come and arrest you, and we're going to force you to come back here, and we're going to charge you with felonies. And Abbott says, and we're going to fucking strip you of your positions. So even though you were voted into your positions, we're just going to take that away.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy.
I mean, it's full fascist. Like, it is literally full fascist. They're rigging elections in the open now.
Yeah.
And they're going full fascist.
At the request of the President of the United States. And this is something we've had our eye on, because Trump has also issued executive orders around voting and around requiring states to share the voter rolls with him. You see all of this insanely unpopular stuff that he's doing. You're like, don't you care that you're going to get your ass kicked in the midterms? Like, there's going to be such a massive backlash. It just seems no care and concern at all for what voters might think. One theory of that is, well, he doesn't really care about the Republican Party, so, he doesn't really care if he loses the midterms, and then he's term limited. Of course, you and I, neither one of us really believe he's going to leave, but whatever, put that aside. But I think here we see the outlines of what the real plan is, which is effectively to rig it and make sure that, Republicans continue to hold the House and the Senate. Because if Democrats are able to get either one of those chambers, then they end up with some subpoena powers. And, even if you're just thinking about, like, the Epstein case, that gives them some things that they can work with that he is not going to want, that can really create some issues for him if they decide to actually use the power they have, if they're able to get control of the House or the Senate. So I also think the fact that this is happening now, him coming to Texas and being like, you got to give me 5 more seats, I don't think it is an accident that actually is happening in the context of the whole Epstein files situation, because he's clearly so desperate to keep whatever information is in the federal government out of the public. I think that's part of why he's freaking out right now and forcing their hand on this.
But the guy who tried to steal the 2020 election, it should be a shock to nobody that now he's like, well, why don't we rig Congress also?
Yeah, why don't we steal the midterm elections too?
Yeah, so they're as Epstein himself said, this is a man with zero scruples.
Oh, yeah.
Zero scruples.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because all the time it's accusing Biden, accusing Obama, accusing Hillary, accusing Democrats of, rigging this and being unfair that way and this way. And then he's just like, well, what about if I steal it out in the open? It's so crazy to me. Like, when he accuses people of being corrupt. And then I don't know if you saw, there was an article out this morning, some new corruption he was doing.
Oh, yeah.
Some medical company had some bullshit product that was covered by Medicare, but there's no evidence it works. So Biden slapped that down to get rid of wasted Medicare. He comes in, that company pays him $5 million to MAGA Inc. And then he reverses it immediately.
Oh, my God.
Like,
Jesus.
And this is the guy accusing others of being corrupt.
Yeah.
It's just insane.
It's also really emblematic of just the, acceleration of Democratic decline in the country under Trump 2.0. Because gerrymandering obviously is nothing new, right? But there used to be, first of all, there were legal limits. Texas is a state, and this is where the Supreme Court comes into play, that had to get federal pre-clearance for their redistricting because they had such a history in the past of racial bias and discrimination that they had to submit their maps to the federal government. Supreme Court tosses that out. But in any case, gerrymandering was nothing new, but there was always a sense of like trying to hide the ball of like what you're doing racially, what you're doing from a partisan perspective. There was some sense of there's got to be plausible deniability. But both in terms of the political culture under Trump and in terms of the actual Supreme Court decisions, like now it's just brazenly out in the open. Like, no, we are going to fully maximize partisan advantage. We are going to outright rig our maps to deliver the largest number of seats to our, to the dear leader, Donald Trump. And they don't even there's no sense of any shame around denying what they're up to. And that's part of what is so disgusting. And, I think the Supreme Court role in this is also really important to emphasize.
Oh, they were the spark. They made it possible. It wasn't possible without them.
That's right. And so, Trump is this acceleration, but he builds on this sort of long-term trajectory that the Supreme Court has been an important part of. And it was that decision with regard to preclearance, and then there was another one that made it harder to prove that it was an illegal, racially gerrymandered map that basically said, well, we assume a sort of good faith from the legislators, and if they're quote unquote just trying to seek partisan advantage, well, that's fine. That's no problem. And it just happens that, because these racial groups are like polarized in one direction or another, black voters in particular tend to vote Democratic. Well, if they have their voting rights trampled on, but it's for a partisan effect, and we're assuming the good faith of the legislators, then it's all fine and good. So it makes it so the bar to get any of these maps thrown out is extraordinarily high and nearly impossible, frankly.
And Gavin Newsom, God bless him, he came out and said, okay, if you guys in Texas are going to literally rig the election and try to take Congress back and steal 5 seats, he goes, okay, we'll do the same thing here.
Yeah.
And it actually still goes to show you that Democrats, even when they fight back, they're still willing to play fair. Because he could have said, I'm gonna get 12 new seats.
Yeah.
But he didn't. He said, we'll get 5 new seats here. Which, okay, that's good. But Brian Tyler Cohen tweeted an article about how in this arms race, there's no way Democrats can win in the gerrymandering arms race. How Republicans just have the ability more in more states to gerrymander more and steal more seats.
Is that partly because I think a lot of Democratic states pass these nonpartisan redistricting commissions? And so even in states that are Democratic, their hands are tied in terms of you can't have a governor just come in and redraw the map because they pass legislation requiring these, neutral redistricting commissions. Is that part of it?
I didn't read the article, so I don't know.
I saw
his tweet on it.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, they had more so the ability to steal it. So we're always at a disadvantage. And now what people are realizing is this whole they go low, we go high. But it's it's the death of us. It's literally the death of us. You can't continue to play a game with somebody who's just openly cheating at the game.
Right.
You imagine that in real life.
Weaponizing the rules of the game against you. Yeah.
I said this on my show the other day, but imagine you're playing soccer with somebody and they just pick up the ball, run to the net, and then punt it, push the goalie over, and then punt it into the net. And then what you're gonna? In spirit of fairness, I will continue to play by the original rules of the game. What the fuck is that? That's some bitch shit.
And where they've bought off the ref and installed Janine Pirro, who's that was totally legal. I don't know what you're talking about. You know?
They're so dishonest too. It's just also dishonest. So they're not even pretending anymore to be the good guy. You know what I'm saying? They don't care about values and integrity and all these fucking highfalutin things that they talk about.
Quite the opposite.
No, it's all out in the open now.
Vice signal.
Right.
The more disgusting they are, the better they feel like they do politically. The more clout they get, the more whatever. So it's just there's zero sort of values and morality left at the highest echelons of the country. It's quite disturbing and disgusting.
Yeah, so what we do from here, man, I don't know, because as I said, the fact that he's building this 90,000 square foot, $200 million ballroom, the fact that he's just signaling very clearly, if I'm alive, I'm not going anywhere. I'm fucking staying right here. And Congress is going, Yeah, we'll just rig it and like take more seats because we know we're about to get our fucking cheeks clapped in the midterms because we're fucking embarrassing and we're destroying the country, and we just kicking 17 million people off Medicaid alone is enough to get you fucked up in the midterms.
Oh yeah.
So like, okay, let's just
which they
fucking rig
know.
it.
Which they
Yeah, they
know.
do. They do know that, but they don't care.
Yeah.
They don't care. So, not looking good, y'all.